This week on adorthem.com, we're talking about child behavior. And in this video, I want to touch on this idea of parent intuition. And I also want to touch on the importance of adapting your parenting style based on the feedback that you're getting from your kid. When we hear the word intuition, I think a lot of times we assume that it's going to be this really powerful feeling that comes over us. That when we think of intuition, we think of it as this extra superpower, that it's this gut feeling that you can't ignore. But the problem is that intuition can be really quiet and really subtle. And it can be this gut feeling, but it certainly can be ignored. And a lot of times we have had a lot of practice ignoring this gut feeling. It's something that we tend to let our logical brain take over, that we try to rationalize things, or we try to research and find, the best way to raise our children. We're reading books, we're reading articles, we're getting advice from friends and family, and sometimes that rational thought process takes over that intuition, takes over that gut check. And this is something that in order to get some of your own parental intuition back, you need to practice using your intuition. You have to practice listening to that little voice or that feeling. And it's something that will become more familiar to you, but trusting your instinct is not easy, especially when it goes against, best practices. So I think there's a ton of value in gaining ideas and in learning about the research and learning from experts and from fellow parents. I wouldn't be running a parenting website if I didn't believe that there was value in sharing information. That being said, we always recommend that you take that information and use it in a way that's going to work best for you and for your kids and for your family as a whole. And that is where a lot of times instinct comes in. For me, there's a lot of varying expert opinions out there on a lot of different topics. So there's value in hearing all of those ideas. And once I can collect that information, then I'm going to pick and choose what might work best for us. It's been a process in this parenting journey for myself to start to learn to trust my instinct again. And it's something that has been very beneficial in my career, in my relationships, whether it's with my husband, my friends, my kids, my family. I realize how powerful that gut instinct can be when making decisions. And I've also come to realize how often my first I don't want to use the word instinct, but my first step is usually to try to squelch it, try to ignore it, try to be like, oh, well, I'm feeling this way about this situation, but I should just toughen up, instead of listening to that. Why am I concerned about this? Why, is there a reason that my gut is telling me this? And it's definitely tough to take that leap of faith and make a decision that might not be based in logical, rational thought. But the more that you make those decisions based on kind of that subconscious mind telling you that you should, it will become very empowering, and you're going to start to realize how it can actually be very beneficial. So that part of the instinct, and a big part of intuition is having to pay closer attention to what's going on around you. So if you want your parental instincts to kick in, you need to be paying close attention to your kids. Your kids need to be kind of like a research subject. You need to be watching closely to figure out, what makes them tick. What makes them melt down? What's going on here? What are the patterns, the negative and the positive patterns? How can we recreate those things? Because your instinct won't have a chance to kick in if your brain is not consuming all of this information. So making sure that we're paying close attention, and kind of thinking of yourself as that scientist is going to really help you figure out what's going to work best for each kid. Because honestly, your kid's going to teach you how to parent them, and every kid is different. And everyone can say kids don't come with a manual, and that's very true. No one can say this is going to work every single time for every single child, but Your kids are very good from a very young age about telling you what they need and what they don't need, what they like and what they don't like. Especially my first son. You know, it was very clear always what he wanted from a very young age. Babies come, you know, with the ability to communicate to you. And babies have preferences even from that young age. And to this day, you know, I can see that there's things that my older son might need that my younger son will need something slightly different. And something that really stood out to me when they were both really young and we were on vacation. And we were on vacation at this secluded lake up in the Adirondacks in upstate New York, and it's gorgeous and it's quiet, and my older son was thriving. He was so happy. He was so calm. He was just so glad to be there in his own element with, you know, his favorite people. It was our close family. You know, grandma and grandpa were there. Like, he was just so happy because there was nothing else to worry about. You know, there were no other people. It was just us, and he knew what to expect. However, my second son, who was very young at the time, was really fussy. You know, he was just, I don't know, just fussy. And so we were down at the waterfront. There's a little creek that we're able to play in there. And you know, son number one's having a great time. Son number two is super fussy until somebody rode their bikes by. And he lit up and he started trying to wave to them and get their attention and grin at them. And it dawned on me that son number two is too secluded. He wants people. He's more extroverted. He's bored. He wants other interaction. So I took him, I asked my first son, I'm like, we're going to go to this beach area, the community beach area up the road. Do you want to come with us? He was like, no, I want to stay here. Like, no, absolutely not. He did not want to do that. Son number two, we went to the beach area. He was happy as could be. He got his people fix. He could smile at strangers. He could play with other kids. He was so happy. And he came back and he had those needs met. So he was, you know, better able to, he wasn't as fussy, you know, the rest of that day. And it was just it was such a black and white thing for me to realize you need such different things. And if I wasn't paying close enough attention, maybe I would have missed that grin and that smile as the people rode past on the bike. Maybe we would have spent the rest of that vacation with a fussy toddler instead of being able to come with a simple solution to just get him in front of people. So it's those kind of things, watching your kids, trying to see those little personality differences that you can play to their strengths, and you can help them through those things, and you can structure your day and your week and your schedules to work best for those kids. Does that mean that they're not going to need to learn how to adapt and how to be okay within the family's routine? No, you're not going to be able to cater to every single thing every single time. But if you can give the kids what they need and you know, kind of fill that bucket, and also minimize the amount of times that you're demanding something difficult from them. The times when you are going to demand something difficult from them, they're going to be able to cope better. You know, so if we can keep daily life more manageable for them, which, like I said, is paying attention to them, figuring out what they need, then when you ask them to do something that's going to be more difficult for them, they're going to be more successful. They're going to have a better experience. You're going to have a better experience. It's not going to be this constant battle. So, practice using those gut feelings. Trust it. Try trusting it on a couple of occasions where the stakes aren't super high, and see how it works out. See how you end up feeling when you make that decision. You know, whether that's that gut feeling of hiring a babysitter or choosing a daycare, or you know, whether or not you feel like you should talk to a teacher about something, you know, whatever it might be, or, you know, a career decision or something like that. Do something, you know, make those decisions based on what you're feeling and try to tune into that, and then go from there. Keep practicing that skill. Also, think of yourself as a parent scientist to some extent. Keep a close eye on those kids, figure out what makes them tick. Think of yourself as kind of a behavior analyst, and it's a little bit more fun that way. It's a little bit more enjoyable. It lets us use our brain a little bit. Parenting is a very hands-on and tiring sport that is not always so stimulating mentally. So let this be a way to engage your brain and really flesh out what's going to work best for your kids and your whole family. Like I said, if you want to check out more about child behavior, you can visit our website, adorethem.com. We have a whole collection of articles, printables, shareable graphics, this video, and some other cool stuff up there. So check all of that out for more advice on child behavior, and we will talk to you next time. Bye.